Alrighty, here's my audience for today's speech.
Hello. Hi there.
Okay, so how many of you guys have seen a football player throw that winning touchdown? A few of you. Some of you haven't. Okay, well, and how many of you have seen a beautiful dancer land their final triple pirouette or triple turn? A few of you too, awesome. Okay, well, you may think that those two activities do not have a lot in common, but today I'm going to show you that they actually do. Today I'm going to prove that dance is both an art form and a sport form all in one. And I'm a pretty credible person to talk about this. I've been dancing since I was 4, and now that I attend Ball State, I'm actually studying dance. So I know very well the art form, and I also grew up around a brother who played a lot of the traditional sports. He did football, he did track, he did soccer, so I've gotten to see kind of that world too, and so I'm excited to talk with you about why dancing can be both a sport and this art form. And this is an important topic to talk about because there has been a debate going on for years. Is dance a sport? Is dance this art form? Can it be both? Well, recently some new information has come out showing us that dance is in fact one of the sport forms that we come to think of, just like football, track, swimming. They're very similar. And so specifically today I will be talking about just what it takes to be a dancer and the athleticism behind it, the training routine that a dancer follows that categorizes it as a sport, and how a dancer is both this athlete and artist. So many people think that a dancer just gets on stage in this sparkly costume and kind of struts their stuff, and it doesn't really take a lot to perform a dance. But when you think of sports stars, you think of them as more active. They run, they jump, they're doing a lot of things that a lot of normal people can't do. Well, I want to tell you that a dancer does all of those things all while wearing the sparkly costume. And according to this dance consortium, which is an organization that aims to expose people to contemporary dance around the world, they said that what an athlete is it's a person trained or gifted in exercises or contests involving physical agility, stamina, or strength. Or in other words, it's a participant in a sport, exercise, or game requiring physical skill. So I want to take a second and just watch this video of a dancer performing, and we're going to just see how she is doing what a sports star would do. We'll go ahead and press play, and we'll just watch a little bit. So she's showing flexibility, she's showing control. There's a jump that requires skill. You can see she has strong technique. More flexibility. And another jump. Okay, we'll go ahead and stop there. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that an everyday person on the street could do that. I think that definitely takes some skill and that takes some hardcore training. And so now I want to go ahead and move on to a typical athletic pursuit that we would definitely think of as a sport, and that's football. So we're going to watch a little bit of these plays and see their athleticism that goes into what they do. Okay, so we have him jumping over. That's pretty similar to the dance jump that we saw. They're running. He has really quick feet to get away from those defenders. He has his eye on the ball at all times. That's showing his technique. Another jump. He's light on his feet. Awesome. Okay, so that is again showing in different ways how these, how both of these sports stars are successful in their own ways. And so as you saw in the dance video, the physical agility that she was showing was flexibility, there was a lot of control in her movement, she had stamina. And we weren't able to see it in this, but dancers and football players and track stars, they go for a long time. Dancers can perform shows for 2+ hours and they go without stop, and that takes a lot of stamina. And then in strength, if we were to watch partnering dancing, men are lifting up women above their head and placing them down so gently, and then females, as we saw in this video, are expected to jump and land very gracefully. So as you can see, there's a lot of similarities in what makes this this athlete and why a dancer is also this athlete. And so also I want to talk about, so how do we get here? How do dancers and sports stars make it to where they are? Well, it comes with training. And both of these pursuits train rigorously. I can tell you from growing up, when I had after school, I would go to my studio for 2+ hours every single night, and then on the weekends, I would also be there practicing. And that's very similar to what other sport training regimens that they do, and the fact that you have to be committed to it to see growth. And according to this article in the Lawrence newspaper, it says, similar to traditional sports practices, dance practices are long and require hard work, dedication, and patience from the dancers as they repeat exercises and stretches to polish their technique and stay on point. So as you can see, they're very similar. It's not just something that you can wake up one day and decide to do. You have to put in the work, you have to put in the hours, and you have to put in time in order to get better. And that is what sports stars do, that is what dancers do, and that is how they can be considered comparable. I have some charts here about what a football player might do to engage and to develop in their sport. They're working on flexibility, they're working on speed, they're working on hops, skips, and bounds. They're working on their feet being fast and being able to move down the field really quickly. They're sprinting, and they are conditioning. So now if we take a look at another chart that kind of breaks down what a dancer would do, you can see they're working on knee-ups, they're working on strength, they're working on that stretch and that flexibility. So both of these forms of sport are kind of focusing on the same thing. And as they train their bodies differently, then they're going to be able to showcase different elements of strength, agility, flexibility, stamina, but they're all honing in on and conditioning their body to be a very seasoned performer and an athlete. So now moving on to my last main point is how, yes, dance is a sport, but dance is also this art form. And many other sports, track, football, swimming, cannot say that they possess that. And according to an article in the New York Times, dance is both an exercise, aka a sport, and this art form, but what makes it that? How does it become this art form? And by taking physical skill, stamina, and strength and adding behind it a storyline, adding behind it feelings, and adding behind it a sense of something more than just doing skills, that's what makes it this art form. And a quote from professional Broadway dancer and teacher Joe Caviecy says, a dancer has to use arms and legs and face and head to tell a story. The necessities are emotional control as well as physical skill. So you have to do more than just be a technician. You have to find something behind you that will tell this story. So that is what takes dance from just a sport and moves into this art form. So going off of what we chatted about today, that dance is both a sport and a very talented art form. And the way that it does that is that it's very, it takes a lot to be a dancer. The training routine that goes into it follows that one of like a sports star. And a dancer is both an artist and this athlete. All right, here's my audience one more time. All right, thanks, guys.